Oh, look who I have with me, the fabulous Kris Fuller.
Hi, I'm so excited to be here. I've been here all morning with Elizabeth, but now it's my time to shine. Just need to check in. 1-800, how's my hair?
Lipstick check. Got a little bit of food. Took a quick break. We're ready to go. Right. So this is a moment where I get to interview my amazing friend, Kris Fuller, near and dear to my heart. We've done so many things together, and I'm personally just so proud of you. And I just want to ask you all these questions that we've asked everybody else today. So are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, Kris Fuller. Thank you for being here with us on our Women's Day conference that you helped organize and did all the graphics for.
I'm like this. I'm like, stop. Just kidding. Keep it coming. I love it. Yeah.
All right. So tell us a time. This is going to be hard for you, I think. Tell us a time where you were most proud of yourself.
You know, I have two that I want to talk about. And one of them is becoming a published author in 2020. And I'm very proud of that in its own right, because so some of those books are written with you, Elizabeth, as you know, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But I think the thing that makes me additionally proud, is that in the year of 2020, so much was happening in my life. And the other thing I'm really proud of, and this will answer that question, is becoming the primary caretaker for my husband, Ben, as he dealt with his cancer journey, and making the decision to care for him at home and allowing him to spend his last 5 months with me at home. I'm very proud of that. It still brings up emotion, as you can see. Oh, yeah. It was something, that was just difficult, but it was the only way I could have done it.
Mm-hmm. And do you want to talk about how do the books weave into that? Because I want you to hold the blue one up for a minute, I guess, because Ben was really ill from February to July. Mm-hmm. He actually got to see you with that.
Yeah.
How cool a moment was that?
It was incredible. And the dedication in here from me is to Ben. And that's one of the things I'm also so proud of in my journey with him there in 2020, is the fact that he got to see me accomplish that dream of becoming a published author. And he got to see and touch and feel the first copy that actually says author copy on it of this journal. And, you know, part and parcel of that, one of the things is I work, as you know, as an event coordinator and a speaker and a writer, and I travel and I talk at events. And in 2020, all of those events were closing down. And I was kind of looking at, okay, I'm going to have to, like so many people, do things online. And the blessing in that for me was that now I found I was just going to be at home. And I was kind of like, oh, brother, now I've got to reinvent all of this. And then Ben got sick a month after events and things were canceled. My last event that I did was March 2020, live event, that is. And so being home with him was just this blessing and this incredible gift that we got to spend so much time together every single day. And now I'm sitting here going, well, how am I reinventing what my work looks like and what my busyness looks like? Because there were times that at one point Ben was like, could you please, like, no more questions. Like, it is a constant barrage of, do you want a blanket? Do you want less blanket? Do you want your socks on? Do you want your socks off? Do you want a shower? Do you want help? Do you want me to walk you there? Do you want me to make you food? And on and on. And I was like, I'm just trying to take care of you because you're too quiet. So I'm trying to guess and anticipate your needs. And so I was throwing myself just into everything him. And he finally had to be like, no dice, like, you're smothering me with love. And so enter my partnership with Elizabeth. And there were days that in our partnership, isn't it? Yes. Our partnership, though, there were times, and I love this about you, the journey that we had, there were times when I would get on the phone. We talked every day, I think, in 2020. Elizabeth was there when I got the news about Ben, and days that were dark and days that were good and everything in between. And during that time as well, something I'm really proud of is I wrote a blog about our daily life and times. And it's still available for everyone to check out for free at cancerwifeninja.com. And there's some delightful things in there that are, you know, they just kind of make me smile, like different things that happened. Like one of them was, and I'll share this because it's really cute, is Ben, one of the gifts is having that time together. We really got to talk about not just our relationship and anything that we needed to like forgive or talk about or discuss, the anger and emotions, but also the go forward. And he was like, I really want you to go forward, live your life, find love again. And I was like, no, you're not going to die. He said, just promise me one thing. He said, don't get a boyfriend until after I die.
Okay.
So we joked about me having men over to sit on the couch and be interviewed by Ben, but of course that didn't happen.
Kris Fuller, you are funny. What I really want to talk about also with you is your family, because when you're going through something like that, I'm like, I got to get on an airplane. And you're like, you can't, the borders are closed. In a normal situation, I feel like I would have been like right there too, as one of the sisters, but you have beautiful family around you. And what a moment this is on Women's Day to celebrate Angela and Lisa and your mom and your other friends that you have right there, who are right there with you during that time.
Yeah. And honestly, the love that I felt pouring in my community, both locally and afar, it was really, really special, really magical. And it was very different, because if I look back at other journeys that I've had, my mom passed away from cancer in 2018, and our ability to congregate together in large groups was incredible and uplifting. We were not able to do that when Ben was ill. And so the outpouring of love was incredibly different. It was in phone calls. It was in dropping off a meal like safely at my front entrance and texting me and saying, we've just dropped you off food, but we know we can't come in because of Ben's health and safety. And friends like you from afar who were like, I really want to physically be there, and different things. And so their love manifested in very carefully scheduled, like one family at a time. And they would come and do things like yard work or bring us food or things, but it was still a huge outpour of love, and just incredible the way that my friends and family coordinated around that so safely. And I felt like in some ways, instead of getting all 50 of them all at once, I had this drawn out weeks of care, because they had to like really take turns. And so it was another beautiful part of it. So inspiring.
And it still is, though. I notice you still have that journal in your hand too, so I can tell how powerfully important that. No, I didn't mean hold it up even. I can just tell it means something.
Yeah.
It's a strong meaning to you to keep that in your hand while you're talking live on air in a women's.
Because accomplishing this, so getting something done, because there were times, and this is the truth, I'm a very unapologetically positive person, but there were times that I was just like, I just want to lay, and we had in our living room the hospital bed brought in for Ben and a little day bed, and we would sit there like two kids at a camp in our two little single beds, because I couldn't sleep with him. It physically hurt him if I moved. And apparently the reports have come back to me that sleeping with me is like sleeping with a small barnyard animel. Apparently I think it's unfounded. I don't think the research has been tested, but it's like when we travel together, we're in separate rooms.
Right. I write in my sleep and talk in my sleep. So you can't.
So these two little single beds, right? And he would be watching a YouTube show on something he liked, or whatever he wanted is what we did. And I would just want to sit there in my pajamas all day and be like, let's just be cuddly and let's just sit here. And that is me cherishing this. But that didn't serve me. And so the times that I was reaching out for lifelines, and you were a huge one for me, where you're like, do you think you can get this done? And it was always with care and love. Like you never were like, I demand you get chapter 7 done. No, which did not have worked for me. Just the other day. Yeah.
It was a good distraction.
Pardon?
It was a good distraction.
It was a life-saving distraction, because otherwise I think I really could have just become immersed in the sadness of the journey, and had it be more difficult for me to carry on with my like eternal optimism and hope and joy. And so it meant so much to me. And then of course, Ben seeing this, and even the other book that I also got published in November, which is Terra Mara. It's a young adult adventure. And I'm going to be doing a giveaway for both of these. So someone's going to get the blue journal and someone's going to get Terra Mara. But him seeing those two dreams come to life was just really a blessing for me. And I know he's still with me, but that was amazing.
All right. When I still want to talk about your sisters. I've still got in my head, I'm like, I want to still talk about your sisters.
I love talking about my sisters. Yeah. I can talk about my sisters all day.
Okay, let's do it a little bit, because they're really special women in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Please.
They are. So Angela and Lisa are my two younger sisters, but we're within like a 4-year pack of like, we just are born close together. We have held each other's hands, held each other's hearts, held each other up. When I started the company, Your Life Sparkles, which is a subsidiary of Best Ever You now, which was the goal to lift you up, to coach you, to help you love yourself. So many things that are just aligned with Best Ever You. They were not just my cheerleaders. They were coming to events with me and being guest speakers and holding doors and giving prizes and hugging babies and all the things. And they were just like, you can do this. The belief in me from them was, I can't thank them enough, because there were times, even as a confident person, where I was like, I know I have to do this. I know I'm called to speak to people. I know my purpose is to help people connect, to share stories, to help people know they're not alone, all of that. But there still is times when you need your squad saying, yeah, you can, and you are. And that really, to me, is what those two became, that rock for me, right?
So when
yeah, that's right.
You know,
and Kimberly talked about that front row. That's right.
Oh, I was thinking about Angela and Lisa too. Even with this conference, they have been there. I feel like I have 2 more sisters in addition to you and my 7 that I have already. Because they helped us with this in the background. So kudos to Angela and Lisa inviting their friends and doing their giveaways and just being there and chiming in the comments. And I'm just so in love with their vibe.
Well, it's a family vibe, and it comes from, as well, I would say, like our mom. So here's a story about our mom. Lots of times us girls were on the same soccer team, because every other year we would be in the same age, or at least Lisa and I were. And my mom would drive us to soccer games, and half the time she coached and different things, but she was known on our team. She would wear suspenders and a hat and our matching jersey underneath. She would walk up and down the field and she would do like this. Ooh, go, get him. Ooh, go, get him. And just cheer. And when we were young, we were like, oh, we're embarrassed. As we got older, people were like, oh, I wish my mom was doing that. And she became like the team mom, and we all sort of adopted her. Well, she was our mom, but the team was just like, is your mom coming? Is she wearing her suspenders? And just this unabashed, unapologetic cheering for her girls. And we were not on a flashy team growing up, right? We were just like playing big city. We would have huge losses, but she would be there cheering until the last minute of every game. And how beautiful and inspiring that was for us as young women growing up, right?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing I want to add to that. It's not often. So I'm 51, level 51, as you like to call me, and you're level 44. It's not often that we get to meet people that we just totally love at this age, and have the other person maybe say, oh, I've already got a best friend. I don't have, and what I love about you and your sisters, and somebody just commented this too, this is why I said this, these women just pull you in, as what was commented, and that is so true. And so please look at this as an example. Look at Kris and her sisters, and look at what they've done with me, for example. And I didn't have to ask, they just did. I didn't have to say, oh, can I be part of your crowd?
You are one of my sisters.
Yeah.
And if you're listening right now, you're one of my sisters too. You're adopted. Yeah. You're in the family.
So it's a lesson for us women to, if there's somebody in your circle that's kind of like, we know we're not in your exact moment circle at this exact time, perhaps, but we're kind of like new to you. Let us in, because we love you. You get a bigger cheering crowd. There's room for more cheerleaders on your team, and it's just so much more fun. But I've just been in my life, I just think back to like even high school. It's like clicky. My life has been a little clicky in moments, and this is one time where it's like, oh, thank you.
And I do try to champion that, the non-click, and try to really, truly roll out the red carpet for you if you are crossing my path, if you are in my life.
That is true.
And the heartbeat of kindness, because, Elizabeth and I have both had times in our lives where we were left out or bullied or picked on. And some of it has been extreme, but that's not the story I tell now, because now I'm like, what did I learn from that? And how do I make the difference going forward? How do I be an embracer and a celebrator instead of someone who keeps people at arm's length and on the outside? And I will always lead with love. And people say, how can you tell someone at a quick conference that you've spoken at that you love them, and hug them and be like, I just love you? And I'm like, but I can, because if I can love chocolate mint ice cream. And if I can love horses, I can love this woman standing in front of me that I've met for 14 seconds, because if it isn't love, then what is it? I'm very fond of you. I like you. I feel bigger than that, and I embrace it.
Yeah, I love that about you. So what does Women's Day mean to you?
Yeah, Women's Day is one of those things. I just feel all proud. My shoulders go and my head perks up, and I'm just like, yes, ladies, yes. And I mean, I speak to mixed crowds, but there is a special place in my heart for speaking to women. And I just feel like when women connect and when women get together, there's strength and beauty and power in our stories and our sharing, and that sense that you're not alone. So many women that I know are like, I'm a champion of busy, right? You hear that phrase that says, if you want something done, ask the busiest woman you know. And so the Women's Day is really just that chance to recognize you're not in it alone. And this community of women we're here with you and for you. And so I love it.
Yeah, I do too. And okay, so we talked about women that inspire you, but do you want to talk about any other additional women that inspire you?
Yeah, do you know what? It's interesting because I've mentioned my sisters, I mentioned my mom, but I want to, and it's keeping it on this family thread, which is interesting because I know that, I mean, there's women professionally who have inspired me. Elizabeth, you have inspired me, but I really want to circle back to my grandmother, well, both of them, but my maternal grandmother in particular, Florence Olson. She lived until 92. She was the absolute picture of grace and love. And my whole life, she was loving and accepting. And it didn't matter. I remember growing up and having things happen in our family. You know, someone had, and a while ago, it mattered more. Like if you had a baby out of wedlock, or if you lost your job, or things that are hurdles that you navigate. But my grandmother was always loving and embracing and took people in, even after her 6 kids moved on and she 20 grandchildren, took in lodgers that were going to college and hockey players that needed a billeting family, and just her ability to love and her ability to just accept. And the key word there for me is acceptance. She just accepted you for who you were.
Beautiful. And what does that mean to you? Like, what is accepting you for who you are?
Yeah.
Mean to you?
Honestly, it is the platform for who I aspire to be. It really is. I want you to show up with purple hair and feathers. I want you to show up as you are, how you are, who you are. And if you say to me, I'm this, I go, fantastic. I don't go, why are you doing that? Because I don't know your journey. I don't walk in your shoes. And one of the phrases I greatly dislike is whenever somebody, hears something, go, well, if I was her, I would do. And I want to be like, no, you wouldn't. Because if you were her, if you were truly her, you would have walked her walk. You would have her past. You would have that parent or that boyfriend or that experience. And you can't go into someone else's shoes and be like, oh, I would do this. No, you would do exactly what they did, because you would have had to have their exact set of circumstances. So when I look at acceptance, it's how you are, who you are, exactly where you are. And I just want to love that.
I've got to go back to your kindergarten story. Roll that one out.
Yes. So when I was, my dad used to work away 30 days and then home 30 days. And I had started kindergarten. Yeah, I had started kindergarten. So I'm going to school and my dad was home one of these days, and I'm coming out to get on the school bus, and I was wearing like purple striped leggings and a tutu and then a little orange shirt and another vest and some fake fur from the dress up box and a hat, and I just bangles. And my dad was like, isn't Christina getting dressed for school? And my mom was like, yep, she is dressed for school. And this is like 1981. So much more conservative families. And my dad was like, I don't think she is. I don't think our children go to school dressed like this. And my mom was like, she just started dressing herself and she's doing a really great job, like over talking so that I just hear the good message. And this is what she's chosen. And she's going to school like this, and her teacher knows. And we're just celebrating Christina getting dressed. So off I went at the time of my life wearing. And so from that story, obviously the story now is I've always beaten to the beat of my own drum. And, God bless my mom for saying, this is what she wears, and sort of putting that foot forward. And my dad too, for going, oh, okay. I didn't know the situation.
What do you think happens to a child so I've had this happen. My kids have put on Batman outfits and they're like, I'm going to school. I'm like, okay, kind of thing. But what do you think happens to the child whose mom says, you got to take that off?
Yeah. And I think there's a place for that too, but I think it's how the message is delivered. because not maybe, maybe everyone shouldn't be wearing tights and tutus to school or whatever. But I think that if you are giving your child a different direction, that just be aware of like how it makes them feel. And I think that that would be a key thing, right? Because there were certainly times in other situations where I was given a hard no about something that I wanted to do. And of course I'm devastated and crying and dramatic and things that kids do. But then that's the thing about parenting, right? You have to pick your battles, or you have to choose. So I think there is a time to be like, yes, let's celebrate it. Let's wear the Batman. And if you're a parent that's like, but it can't be at school. Well, when can it be? Is it when we go to Walmart? Is it when we get groceries? Is it, like, I think there's ways to navigate it that are true for you as well. Cause I don't want to be like, here's my parenting advice. I don't have any, but I do think of that child in your scenario.
Yeah, I posted a memory the other day in Facebook, and it's Quade came down the stairs. He was like maybe 10, 8, I don't know how, probably 8. And he was dressed head to toe in camo with a camo backpack and everything. And he's like, Mom, do you think people can see me? I'm like, no, I'm going to go to school dressed like this. I'm like, God bless you. And he went, it was the cutest thing, but there's a picture of him going like this, like,
yeah, I love that.
Yeah. But I think about, like, if I would have said, no, Quade, you got to go upstairs and you can't wear that to school. It's like,
yeah,
no, it changed. I think it'd be life changing, even like because they're all proud.
Yeah. And you should see some of my outfits these days. In fact, you have. So I think it really gave me permission to have mismatched socks, to have crazy. You saw earlier, we showed what we had on the bottom. I'm wearing my plaid pajama pants, and to like let you embrace some of that sillier, some of that funner stuff. And I think that is something too, that from that little experience, like my mom was my whole family, aunties, uncles, everybody, huge celebrator of Halloween, huge celebrator of like Easter. We're all buying bunny ears and all the things that are cute and fun. In fact, I have to tell you this story. When Ben and I got engaged, so we'd been together. We didn't get engaged until we were 35. We met a little later. And he at one point was like, I hope you don't ever want to get married, because I'm not really down with that. But if we could just love each other and live together forever, that would be great. I said, I always thought that I would get married, but now that, 35 and you're my guy, I could love you forever. I think I could probably wrap my brain around that. That sounds good. Fast forward to December 2nd, we get snowshoes. We're going up to this Silver Star local ski hill to go snowshoeing. And I said, I have a great idea. Let's stop at the dollar store and buy little reindeer hats and little elf hats. And then we can do a Christmas card and send it out to people this year, how great our life is. And there's the two of us, and I'll write a newsletter. And he said, sure, sounds great. So we pull in. I'm so excited. He said, yes. I've bought every Jingle Bell hat and reindeer, everything I could possibly think of. We go up to Silver Star. We're putting these on. He's laughing. We're smiling. There's pictures. They're amazing. I'll post some of them because you'll just laugh. His family was like, we can't even believe this. He's usually a little more conservative. So we get to the top, we snowshoe up, we're at this beautiful summit, and he gets down on a knee and pulls out a ring. And of course, this is what I go, what are you doing? There's 18 feet of snow. Don't drop that. That was my just before yes panic. But he said, I love you very much. And I've decided that I do want to get married. And so the story leading up to that, and then this whole, it's so fantastic. So yeah, having that celebratory flair, picking up all those hats, and then having him just embrace that with me and go for it was such a beautiful, beautiful thing. So I love that.
Thank you for that. And I do want to see pictures. So post that. And please, while we're listening, if you have pictures like that, anything like that, just post pictures in the comments.
With silly hats or headbands or costumes or something.
Or marriage proposal on a ski lift or whatever. Whatever. So cute. All right. Yeah. Okay, I got one more for you. Maybe two. I can't promise because
depends how long my answers are. I'm like this.
All right. So I would like to know what comprehensive well-being means to you.
Oh, yes. I love this question. And this is what I strive for. I strive to live it. I strive to model it. And what it means to me is head to toe, but this is equally as important, inside to outside. And for me, that's looking after my heart and doing things that make me feel loved and beautiful and uplifted, and looking after my mind. And that for me is my gratitude practice and my positivity and my journaling and the daily things I do. And so, we have another journal. Maybe I should give that away too. A green journal. It's a health tracker, and it's 52 weeks to being your healthiest, best you. And when I use that, I love it because we have a checklist for every week that talks about your water intake, your nutrition, your rest, your mindset. And it just
out getting.
Yeah, and getting outside in nature. That's right. Because I love that too. And it makes a difference. So the comprehensive thing to me is that inside to outside is always something I really talk about, right? And then with that, at the heart of that is loving yourself.
Critical. Yeah, I took a page from that journal and it's on my refrigerator, actually. It's helped me lose weight, actually helped me release pounds and get healthy and so forth. And I love the comprehensive part of that, just the total being. So yeah, thank you for that. And then is that what makes you feel your most incredible best, or is it something else? Like, what's your incredible best?
And I think there's many answers to this, but certainly for me, one of them is being outside in that sunshine and just having whatever my moment is. Am I walking at the beach? Am I out with a girlfriend snowshoeing? Outside to me really just lifts me up and makes me feel like, oh, this is beautiful. And the other thing that makes me feel my incredible best is connecting with people. I will sit on a couch and have girl time, coffee time all day long. And whether that coffee time is someone I've just met, like if you've ever ridden with me on the bus, I'm like, my favorite color is blue and I have a cat named Mia and you're my best friend after 3 stops. So feeling my best is really connecting and then fresh air. Those 2 things I would say.
Yeah. And then, what else do I want to ask you?
We talk every day. We talk all the time. And I know when we interview each other, she's like, I know this. I'm like, but people don't know it. Go ahead and ask me. But yeah.
Well, we have another interview in like 5 minutes. So we probably have to go. But do you want to talk about, I kind of want to still ask you about what your incredible yes is too.
Yeah. Okay. Do it.
I've heard this.
I will. So I have 2 incredible yeses. And one of them was saying yes to myself leaving the corporate world. And so that was in 2016. And I was working corporate and I stopped and I started my first company, which was an art business. So doing that put me on the trajectory to then running Your Life Sparkles, which is an inspirational company that I now am partnered with Best Ever You on. So that first yes, leaving corporate, was important. And then the second yes was saying yes on January 12th to a Zoom call with Elizabeth Hamilton-Guarino. We met in a Facebook group of 300,000 women and we found each other just by the alignment of the stars. I'm not kidding. The universe had us in a group and they were like, these ladies need to meet. And this huge drop in the bucket, and we met. And then that's kind of where it all started. And from our first meeting and our couple of Zooms, the question Elizabeth asked me, she said, would you like to write a journal with me? And I was like, yes, I would. And that was it. And now we're on our 5th journal and we just launched personalized journals. And I am just
Superstar journals.
Superstar journals have just come out. That's right. So that
giddy about,
like I said before, I'm like, that is something I could not have predicted when I was mapping out 2020. And obviously before COVID started, I was like, 2020 is going to be my year. I'm going to be speaking. I'm going to just like hit it off the charts. And Ben was like, yes, honey, like attack and just like lift yourself and lift others and like, let's go. And then 2020 happened and everything changed. And so that is a yes that I will never regret. And I just can't wait for our future to keep going.
No, my husband's in the other room going, what is happening? It's so awesome. Anyway, all right. I love you. Everybody loves you. There's so many comments. Thank you.
I'm going to throw up glitter because I always do. But because you're here with me, I also like to add in a little shoulder shimmy. So right shoulder, left shoulder, rock it a little. And then like you mean it. Like, come on, ladies, give me a little shoulder shimmy because it feels good and it makes you smile.
I feel like Steve Martin when I do that. Like I'm a wild and crazy.
I'm going to just shimmy until you say goodbye for us.
Bye. I think I'm going to keep going.